Fort Matanzas was built by the Spanish in 1742. Called Torre de Matanzas, it was built to guard the mouth of the Matanzas River, which was considered the back door to Saint Augustine. In 1916, the U.S. Department of War began major restoration of the badly deteriorated fort. In 1924, Fort Matanzas was designated as a national monument. Then in 1933, the fort was transferred from the War Department to the National Park Service. The Matanzas Inlet lies approximately 14 miles south of Saint Augustine, Florida. The river bears its grisly name, which is Spanish for massacre, in commemoration of the murder of Jean Ribault and the settlers from Fort Caroline by Spanish soldiers in 1565. The river and coastline have changed dramatically since the fort was originally constructed. Today, Fort Matanzas sits approximately 3/4 of a mile upriver from the Matanzas Inlet. Now as then, however, the fort is only accessible by boat. The National Park Service operates a small fleet of ferry boats that depart from the visitor center on a regularly scheduled basis. The crossing only takes a few minutes, but provides scenic views of the fort, the river, and abundant wildlife. Once visitors have arrived at the fort, they are given a brief history of the fort, its preservation status as a monument, and then taken on a semi-guided tour. Like the larger Castillo de San Marcos just up the river in Saint Augustine, Fort Matanzas was built with coquina, which is a sedimentary rock that is composed of fossilized shells and corals. In 1740, the British used the inlet to blockade Saint Augustine, launching a 39-day siege against the city. Saint Augustine endured the siege, but the episode convinced the Spanish that protecting Matanzas Inlet was necessary to the security of the town. Fort Matanzas was typically manned with 4 infantrymen, 2 gunners, and 1 officer in charge. The fort was equipped with 5 cannons, 4 6-pounders and 1 18-pounder. In 1742, as Fort Matanzas was nearing completion, the British approached Matanzas Inlet with 12 ships. Cannon fire drove off the scouting boats, and the British ships left without engaging the fort. This was the only time that Fort Matanzas fired on an enemy. In addition to the gun deck and sentry box, or barbizon, Fort Matanzas included a 30-foot high tower, which housed an officer's quarters, a barracks, a powder magazine, and a rooftop observation deck. While diminutive and much less famous than Castillo de San Marcos, it can be reasonably argued that Fort Matanzas played a significant role in securing peace and prosperity for what would become the oldest city in the United States.